So at what age do you meet Sean Price?
I met him first time when I was 9 years old. I was at his 11th birthday party. It was a surprise birthday party.
Now, Sean, I saw an interview with him, right, at D&D Studios that you were in later on in the interview and everything. This was like before you guys had even settled on the name Heltah Skeltah, you know, and he said that he met you when he was 8 years old.
Well, that nigga can't count. I mean, here's the thing. Maybe he did. You know what I'm saying? Because our mothers knew each other. You know, my memory, I can only speak for where my memories of him start. Like, I was watching your interview with Sway Sever, right? And he was talking about, remember he told you, he's like, them niggas don't remember when they met. Neither one of us remember when we first met him, right? Like, he told me the story about when we met him and shit, how I was a rat cipher in Washington Square Park and so on and so forth. I don't remember that, right? But my memories of him start at a different place, but that's not to discredit what he said. You know what I'm saying? I just don't remember that day. But because our mothers were friends before we knew each other, anything is possible. You know what I mean?
What was your first impression of him?
My first impression is like I laughed as soon as I met him. Before he even saw me, I was laughing. Cause I was at his crib where he walked in from the surprise party. He had a job. This nigga had a job already, a real job too. No paper route shit. This nigga looked like a fucking building fell on him. He walked in the crib, dusty, dirty and shit. And niggas yelled, surprise. He said something funny, and then he sashayed his ass back to the room to go get dressed and cleaned up or whatever. And whatever he said at that moment, it was funny. This nigga, you know, he was very in touch with his sense of humor early in the game. He was already the funny one in his family.
So how did you guys get to a point where you guys built such a close friendship to be like, this is who I want to be in a group with?
Well, it was the street shit. Like I said, I got to my second high school and I was in there with his homeboy. Salute to Norton. Salute to Whoop Whoop Will. If you don't say the three Whoop Whoop Whoosh, you ain't talking about the same Will. Salute to my Will. My man Scott. Jason, rest in peace. And rest in peace, my nigga Seiko. Right? Those dudes, like, so Will, Sean, and Norton all were in my class, my homeroom class, right? Norton and Steele was play cousins or real cousins or something like that. You never know what Steele had don't nobody in DCEPS got more cousins than Steele, and that's only because Steele would tell niggas that you was his cousin as a form of protection. Because if you told a nigga, this is my man right here, niggas would go, so? And if they do that, it's about to be a bad day, right? But anyway, but it ain't like, but Norton was a wild nigga. It was, they was cousins or something like it, and I already knew Norton, so that that made the transition easy for me, you know, for me to start rocking with Sean and Will. But after school, Scott and Seiko would meet us up at schools. They didn't go to our school, and Scott and Seiko were the ones who were on the real bullshit. And they started them the niggas who started taking me up to Cybertron and all of that. So, Scott and Seiko, that's how I met Strang. I knew Jack already. I knew Jack our whole lives. He was from Guns Building, right across the street from my projects. But Strang was a whole nother nigga. I met Strang through Scott. You know what I mean? And at Cybertron, and I seen the way son was performing and demonstrating, and I was like, I like that guy. He was part of our legion. You know, our legions is what we called our sects, right? So he was part of our legion, and you know, I kind of you know, latched on the string. And for a while, I didn't know who Ruck was. Niggas would talk about Ruck. I didn't know who they was talking about. It was plenty of Decepticons that I didn't know. They would talk about something. I'd be like, niggas talk about this Ruck nigga all the time. Who Ruck? And they're like, you don't know Ruck? How you don't know Ruck, son? Like, his name is Sean. It's Sean Price. Like, he blah, 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 blah. I'm like, son, listen, I know tons of Seans. I'm like, Top Dog named Sean. My real brother's name is Sean. You're not helping me, right? Champagne's name is Sean, right? Like, you're not helping me, right? Nigga, then one day, we was at this club. Are you hearing that ringing?
No.
All right, good. It was this hole in the wall club in Brownsville called The Future. It's the law school now, but there used to be a club called The Future, and we went there. Well, I didn't like my niggas from Sackman Street. We didn't fuck with that club. Like Sackman Street, we're a different breed. Like we don't do the unnecessaries. Nah. But since I'm hanging out with my new D-Set friends, they did that. You know what I'm saying? And they went over there. It was, you know what I'm saying? There was something going on that night. We went there, and the club was you know, it was sweatboxing, it was hot, whatever, and there was an open mic segment. And I got on the mic and I aired that shit out, right? And everybody there was corny except two other people. One was my cousin, because she showed up. Two, my cousin she was originally from that side of Brownsville, right? She lived right over there. So she showed up, and Ruck showed up. And as we talked about it the day after, I'm like, yeah, all them niggas was trash, except for blah, 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 blah. Niggas like, yeah, you, your cousin, and Ruck, the only ones. I said, wait a minute, Ruck was there last night? And like, yeah, the only other nigga that rap good. So now I know who Ruck is. I'm like, oh. And then probably, I don't remember, it could have been 20 minutes or 2 days later or 2 hours later, whatever. Shortly after that, Ruck just rolled up on a bike. And I was like, oh shit, what up, nigga? And this was my first time seeing him in some time, other than at the club that night and shit or whatever. But we smoked and joked and drank. We used to drink 40 ounces back then and shit, you know. We hung out for that day and we just started hanging out with each other. You know, we didn't choose to be a rap group yet. You know what I mean? We was just doing dirt together and shit. He was a nigga who saw all of my weird shit as useful because, you know, I was a little bit weird.
Yeah, in the past I've heard you say that he saw all your flaws as like positive things that he knew how to like utilize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did. So I didn't feel that was he was like, and I just told my man this the other night. My man Guns, I'm like, yo, I always felt like a bit of an outsider. You know what I'm saying? Even amongst us. And he was like, word? I'm like, yeah, son, because you got to think, like, since we've been this iteration of ourselves, you know, the Sackman Street G's or whatever, you know, we didn't start being that, whatever, you know, there's phases and shit. I'm like, you know, I was already a rapper. I was rock from Heltah Skeltah. I wasn't in the dirt with y'all. And even when we was kids, I stayed on punishment. You know what I'm saying? I only got to participate some of the times and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Like when I started rocking with still already had, we wasn't boot camp yet. Still had something going on already. I joined his movement because, you know, my movement wasn't, you know, I was like, yo, we can go over there or y'all can go over there with me. But I'm going over there. Cause you know what I'm saying? My homeboys from my original squad was shucking and jiving. I was a rapper. I had 2 dancers. It was supposed to be my school and scrap lover. Them niggas ain't had no routines. You understand what I'm saying? My DJs ain't, my DJ. Me and my DJ had no practice. You know what I'm saying? Together and shit. My man Ike was supposed to be our little curveball because he played the keyboard and shit, whatever. We ain't have no coordination, God. Meanwhile, still over there, him and his DJ, they dressing in matching outfits. His dancers got routines. He got Big Tim from 180 doing security. I'm like, these niggas is, hold on a second. Like, so I'm like, we need to, Still is my homeboy, we need to fuck with that. And that's what I did, but I forgot where I was going with
You
that.
saw the discipline and the organization over there, and you knew that that's what you guys needed.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but when my homeboys didn't come over there with me. Not really. I went, right? So to a certain extent, I felt like a bit of an outsider to that. You know what I'm saying? But then we formed Boot Camp and I felt at home there, right? And Boot Camp, you know, I felt like I felt some sort of ownership towards, right? And so the Boot Camp dynamic and the Heltah Skeltah dynamics were the two those were the two most at-home dynamics I've ever had. More than my family, you know what I'm saying? More than anything. Those two dynamics was where I felt I belonged in real life. It wasn't this, I wasn't an extra or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was that was the thing. I felt that way. I felt that way about boot camp. And as far as with Ruck, like, yeah, it was that same effect. It was like, I got a place for all of that weird shit you do. That shit ain't weird. That shit is decent shit. Come over here. You understand what I'm saying? And he would take me places. He would show me shit. You know, you know what I'm saying? I would take him places, show him shit. You know what I mean? We would trade raps. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't claim to be a group until I got locked up.
Got you. So how do you end up meeting all of the members of Boot Camp Clik? Because everyone's pretty much from the same hood except for Tech from Smith and Wesson, right? He's from Bed-Stuy.
Tech and Buckshot.
And Buckshot.
Buckshot, but like I said, you know, Louisville is from my building. He wasn't originally from my building. His uncle lived in my building. His uncle was one of my day one niggas. His uncle is my oldest and dearest friend. I know this nigga since I was 5 years old. But he's from my building. Top Dog is Steele's brother, if you didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Strang is from across the street from the projects. And I told you how I met him. Like, I knew him from the projects, Jack. But when I met Strang was on some D-Sep shit, and he was a goddamn animal. And I liked it, right? So that's how I started running with him. I met Tech through Steele back in, you know, when I first started, you know, running with Steele and, you know, Steele's movement. Tech, you know, I met Tech shortly after. Tech was already in the picture with Steele. He just didn't rap yet.
And Tech and Steele, they knew Ruck before you too, right?
Steele did, maybe not Tech. Like I said, when I met Ruck, he wasn't in high school yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Steele being from, because Tech ain't from Brownsville, but Steele and Ruck used to have, you know, they used to go to, they used to walk to school again. It was this community center shit, Heritage House or whatever they used to go to when they was kids and all of that. But when they all went to the same high school. And by the time they got to high school, me and Ruck wasn't close yet. I knew Ruck, but we wasn't close yet. You know what I'm saying? So they probably did dirt. If they ever did dirt together, it was before me and Ruck ever did dirt together.
Got you.